Well, hi everyone. What's the background music from? That is from Zenless Zone Zero, actually. Uh, Historically, on these streams, I have used the Riot Games creator safe sessions, as well as one playlist of music from Fear and Hunger to start my Resident Evil streams off. But quite recently, uh, Zenless Zone Zero released a video called Starlight Billy's Road Trip Playlist Alone Night's Day. And that is about an hour and 20 minutes of music. Um, which is some nice chill vibes for most of it. There is the sound of a motorcycle in the background because it's being framed as Billy Kid going on a road trip the whole way, but I don't know, I think that adds to the overall ambiance. I think it sounds lovely, honestly. The Funger music, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be completely real with you. Like, I've played horror games of all kinds at this point. Um, but for a while, like the scariest games that I had played were like Little Nightmares. Fear and Hunger Termina is probably the first proper scary ass horror game that I actually finished. I have played the first one by now as well. Hello, boy. Hmm. Right as you arrive, a smooch is requested. How convenient, Ravioli. I have tried Alien Isolation, yeah. Back at the time that I played it. Okay, buddy, come up here. Come up here. Come up here and let me smooch you. Come on, bud. Do you want to go on the desk? Do you want to go on the desk, buddy? Okay, I guess I'll just scoop you then. Get scooped. There we go. Now he's on the desk. Now the boy's on the desk. Funger mention? Yeah. So, Alien Isolation is a game that I tried in high school. I'm gonna have a sip of my water because that was requested. And this was very much back during the time when I hadn't figured out how to cope with horror media. And I still struggle sometimes. Um, there are very much occasions where I I tend to dwell on things and think about them for a long time after the fact, which is for me is never fun. I don't really do horror movies still to this day. That's not really my thing. Because I know for a fact I'll end up thinking about it late at night. Um, and so Alien Isolation is something that I have played, but I haven't beaten it. Because at the time that I played it and owned it, I couldn't. I couldn't do it. Um, Funger was, I think, the thing that first got me into horror, genuinely. Like, because I've always liked watching other people play horror games, but Fear and Hunger is very stressful and frightening, right? And it touches on some themes that are pretty intense. And I will admit, it's not always handled the best. I would say it's the second game especially is more delicate with the subject and presents it in a way that I think is well done more than the first, but there are still aspects of it that is just for like shock and horror in a way that's not great, but that's common for the genre, right? It gets to me. How was it handled in the first? There are so many enemies that will sexually assault you at the drop of a hat in the first game. And that is still a thing in the second, but it's less universal. The sexual violence that is contained within the second game is portrayed through a much more personal lens from the perspective of the character experiencing it, in a way that I think, as someone who has experienced sexual violence, can be very distressing for me at times, but also makes me feel very seen compared to the first one. So they're good games, to be clear. They are very good games. I think the second game especially has a lot to say. I can't play those games if I'm not in the right headspace. I have to be doing good already. Like, I have to be in a mentally good place to play those games, but I do love them to death. And so I would highly recommend them with, like, 6 different asterisks applied, you know? While we do the start of stream yap session, I want to try a new trigger out while we do that, just to show it off, okay? Because I recently dug out some supplies from back when I was prepping for bottom surgery, actually, in the form of exfoliating gloves. See, I see stuff like some people are just evil, and Termina's character writing is so much better, yes. The core conceit of Termina specifically. Right, so I've taken the pop filter off of the mic. I am now just rubbing it with these exfoliating gloves. But the basic premise behind Termina, right, is that you were in like a 1940s-ish alternate history around that time, in the small European country of Preheville, and your train has broken down in this little town. And you get to choose one of several characters who get told at the start, hey, congratulations. You've all been chosen to participate in a battle royale. You all have to fight and kill each other, and if by the end of 3 days more than one of you is left alive, anyone still alive will turn into a monster. Oh, these are not latex gloves. These are exfoliating gloves. They're made out of a deliberately rough material. What did you just join into? We're talking about Fear and Hunger Termina. And the really interesting thing about that premise, right, is that everyone's told you have to fight and kill each other. If more than one of you is left alive at the end of 3 days, you'll turn into a monster. And the really interesting thing is that everyone's told that, Everyone has the same hallucinatory dream where they're told that everyone sees all of the monsters and horrible things in this town, and yet pretty much no one chooses to participate in this death game. They all say no. Let's work together and figure this out. Let's fix the train and leave if we can. There's only like one or two characters? Yeah, who decide to do the death game thing, and the game rightfully views them as assholes. If you, the player, choose to pursue it, the ending you get is one where basically like the bad guys who organized this are like, wow, you really suck. This is our selection process for joining our group, is if you're enough of a piece of shit to just kill all of these people. And I think that's a wonderful plot conceit. And Termina plays a lot with disability in all kinds of ways. And gender is something that's played with a lot. One of the characters is canonically a transgender girl. And her story is so good. I love her so much. We have another character who was a child soldier who now struggles with addiction, and that is a mechanic in the game that affects the way he plays. Another character is in a wheelchair. She's not paralyzed, but her legs are too weak to carry her. And so she's in a wheelchair, and what that means is, like, if you have to go upstairs as her, you have to get out of the wheelchair and, like, drag yourself up, and your speed is, like, crazy reduced. She is a disabled character whose disability plays into how she functions in game, but she is still considered and still functionally as competent and as capable as anyone else. This is Fear and Hunger Termina, a game that I highly recommend with a shit ton of caveats. Yeah. But at the same time as, like, her wheelchair causes her some pretty severe, like, negative impacts in game, there are also things like the fact that she is crazy good with a gun. Other than the one character who was an actual soldier, she is the best with a gun in the whole damn game. And I love that for her. I fucking love that for her. I adore Termina. And so it was because, like, I was so invested in the characters, and because the RPG mechanics of the Fear and Hunger games are really in depth and really good. You do get to fight a manifestation of dysphoria on trans girl route. It's true. It's fucking We're playing with religious trauma, we're playing with disability, and we're handling it so much better than the first game. It's really good. It's really goddamn good. And just the way that these games are done, right? Because I love turn-based RPGs, I love character building, I love all of that shit, okay? I like thinky games. And so that was one of the big reasons I was able to actually play this game. right? I really struggled with horror, and it was a very stressful thing for me, and I had to be in a good headspace to play it because of kind of the nature of the game. But once I actually started playing, like, and just got into the RPG sides of it, I was able to push through, and I really enjoyed myself. And that eventually is what led me to be willing to try other horror games. And I think that's neat. My avatar is always doing this, I swear. There we go. So, what do we think of the exfoliating gloves as an ASMR trigger? I was rubbing them against the mic before. I am now rubbing them together against each other. They sound really nice. Hell yeah. Okay. Do you think they're better being rubbed on the mic or being rubbed against each other? Mic better? Okay, okay. Good to know. Good to know. Well, I will make sure to play with them more like that in the future. I do have terrible news. I do have terrible news, my friends. Right. I made shrimp scampi last night. Okay. Okay. And it was so yummy. It was so yummy. I love shrimp scampi. I love shellfish so much. I do think I might be allergic. Exfoliating. So to exfoliate is to gently abrade something. Rub against it with something a little rough. I had to use these exfoliating gloves while I was getting laser done. I was suggested to regularly exfoliate with them after laser sessions. So the reason I say I'm probably allergic is because historically it's not a universal thing, but I pretty regularly get sick after eating shrimp, especially. And for a while I was like, maybe it's just the way that a particular restaurant makes them or anything, but no, I do just genuinely get pretty sick pretty consistently after eating shellfish. And I'm a big seafood girl, so I was maybe like in denial about it, but I was talking to my sister about it, about how I always get like really sick. And she was like, that sounds like an allergy. I'm not going to tell you to stop eating shrimp, but like, if you ever start to feel like your throat is closing up, go to the hospital immediately. And do you know what happened last night after I had my shrimp? I got a really sore throat and my tongue started feeling weird. It didn't close up, I didn't have any issues breathing, but like I started feeling bad. And then it was like several hours after at this point, right? It was like it had been like 3 or 4 hours since I'd eaten the shrimp by the time I fully registered just how bad I was feeling. which is well past the point when anaphylaxis, when anaphylactic shock would occur, right? So I knew, like, I wasn't gonna die. I was okay. But it's like, wow, yeah, my throat really hurts right now, and my tongue feels weird, and I feel bad. So I do some Googling, and I'm like, okay, yeah, if anaphylactic shock was gonna happen, it would have happened already. So I'm okay on that. Then I keep looking, and it's like, is it okay for me to keep eating shrimp if it hasn't killed me already? And everything on Google's like, just because it hasn't killed you before doesn't mean it won't in the future. And the more you do it, yeah, the worse it gets. So I guess no more shrimp for me. No more shrimp for me. I'm sad. I'm sad. There's leftover scampi in the fridge right now and I want to eat it. I want to eat the leftover skimp, but I can't. You get it, Merm. You get it. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. I want my shrimp. I love shrimp. But, like, am I willing to court death for shrimp? I don't think so. I am like a dog who really wants to eat chocolate, like, right now. Like, come on, you're eating it. You're eating it. It looks delicious. Come on, let me have some. Let me have some. Oh, it's just so yummy. It's just so yummy. It's just so good. I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it. I love shrimp. I like crustaceans. I want to eat water bugs. I want to eat the water bugs so bad. But they're good. They're good. But crab. Can I have crab? Can I have my crab, please? Crab is the yummiest food in the world. Can I have my crab? Can I have my lobster? I want to have prawns. I want to go to the boiled prawn shack in Elden Ring. I want to go there. Well, old guy, he says, never met anyone with a taste for prawns I couldn't trust. And that's just the truth. I wanna have him prawns. I've gone 26 years eating shrimp. 26 years eating shrimp. I wanna. But, like, I really don't want to die. I really don't want to die. So, like, I have to not. I have to not. Like, for my own safety and my health, I'm willing to let this go, right? I'm willing to let this go and to say no more. But I think I'm allowed to be sad about it. Because I loved it. It's so good. It's so tasty. If not for yourself, do it for Rav. You're so right. You're so right. Today we mourn my shrimp. We mourn my shrimp. Alright, I'm gonna go give Rav a smooch, and then I think it's about time to start the first poll to decide what we're doing for ASMR today, okay? I'm gonna just take off my little gloves. I'm gonna go grab a boy. And then we can have ourselves... Oh god. Oh god, I should rename my posture check. I should rename my posture check redeem. It's gonna remind me. It's gonna remind me. Everywhere I look, I see her face. Shrimp. Okay, I'll be back with a boy. Where is son boy? Where is boy son? Son boy. Mr. Guy. Scooped. He is scooped and taken. Oh. There we go. That's a bud. Do you want to help with some ASMR, bud? Here, you can help out. You want to do some purring? Come on, you can do it. You can do a little purring. Oh, not the keyboard, not the keyboard, not the keyboard. Son boy, boy son. Anyways, I'm going to be mourning my shrimp for the rest of my days. But it was genuinely like, ooh, carpenter witch. Oh, I kind of like that. That's fun. I was just genuinely like, last night, you know, I was thinking to myself, after I verified that I was gonna be okay, I was thinking like, wouldn't it would have been so fucked up if I just ate shrimp and then went to bed and then didn't wake up. And so I'm done with my shrimp. Maybe a fungus-related one? Marina does your engraving? I would love to. She does kind of do the engraving with a knife. Like it's she's cutting your face, and I don't know how Twitch would necessarily feel about that. So Marina, the trans girl in Fear and Hunger, has studied all kinds of ancient magics because she was raised in a fucked up kind of religious way. And one of the abilities she can get is to engrave her allies, which is marking them with the marks of these gods, okay? That give them special powers and things. But it is very much she is cutting the characters' faces with a knife. That is what she is doing. She's carving the symbols into them. See, maybe the gloves on the mic could do that, but like the fact is that Twitch has issues with like brandishing a weapon, and while I wouldn't be doing that technically, it still might be to the point that Twitch would be unhappy, you know? So probably best not to do that one, unfortunately. Woke up with a Sylvian engraving on my forehead. God, you gotta love that the Sylvian engraving does look just like it's a pussy. It do look like just a pussy. See, I'm getting my horny out before the charity event too. Hi Neba, we're talking about fear and hunger while we prep some ASMR. Yeah, so in fear and hunger, the old god of creation and life and all of that is called Sylvian. Her counterpart, destruction and death, is Grogaroth. They both love each other dearly. Possessed scarecrow. Oh, I like that. I like that. And so, Sylvian is a god of life, creation, birth, that sort of thing. And so the symbol of Sylvian looks rather yonic, if you will. I love Sylvian. Huge fan of Sylvian. Don't worry about the everything. Honestly, if I had to go by any of the Fear and Hunger old gods, I think Sylvian's a good way to go. Maybe not, actually. Being turned into a marriage would be pretty not great. Yeah, if I did a Gross with Renakier, it would probably be the rest of the stream, but I could do that. I will also add the witch slime audio. A marriage, yes. It's a thing that Sylvian does sometimes when she recognizes a really deep and meaningful form of love, where she fuses the two people together into one person. Let's see. The worst group would be the Sulfur Cult? Yes. Objectively correct. Objectively correct. The Sulfur God is a piece of shit. Well, maybe the Sulfur God itself isn't so bad, but its worshippers definitely are. We don't really know what the Sulfur God itself is about. We have one more slot left on the poll. You reveal you're a mimic to your doppelganger girlfriend. So we're both shaped. So when you say you reveal you're a mimic, does that just mean you're a different type of doppelganger? Because I think to myself, mimic, I'm picturing like I'm dating a treasure chest. Curious fairy dragon inspects the interesting listener. Okay. That one sounds fun. Dragon inspection. Funny that one of the best skills in Termina is cranking it. Yeah. I in most of my Termina runs, I play Marina. I love her. I usually turn her into a necromancer and it's great. I always name my reanimated creatures like my first one is always Gorps. Gorps is so important to me. Every playthrough has to have a Gorps. It's Gorps. It's my favorite best friend Gorps. See, I would be genuinely down to play Fear and Hunger on stream at some point, but I think Twitch would kill me. I think they would execute me with hammers. I think there might be a setting you can change in game to like tone down some stuff for if you're a creator, but like, or like mods or something, but I would not feel super safe and confident doing that just in general. Do you know how many enemies in that game just let it hang? They just let it hang. It's always coming up with, because the whole deal with Funger, right, is you can target individual enemies, and then you can target the body parts of your various enemies and destroy those parts, and it changes the fight. So like if I lop off an arm that's holding an axe, the enemy can't use the axe anymore. But then you know, you know, we have enemies who just let it hang and you can target it, and it's always coming up with some kind of fucking euphemism. The game's like, yeah, you're targeting the stinger. The stinger. That's what it is. That's what it is. Stream where we don't see or hear the game and you just describe it. Funger full of untucked queens. That's so real. That's so real. I have the window to the room open right now just because it's fucking crazy hot. I'm hoping there's no super intense background noise coming from outside. Oh, the toxic Yuri. Oh, the toxic Yuri. Marina, the trans girl, has a cis lesbian who goes a little bit yandere for her, a little bit obsessed, a little bit unhealthy with it. She's got some stuff going on. It's not great. I think there's like a way to do it, but I think there's some interesting story there, but it is also like I don't know if I would call it toxic Yuri, just out of respect for other. Well, I guess maybe it's just it's so incredibly toxic, you know. You're gonna be fighting for your life in the charity streams. We gotta hold it together. We gotta hold it together, okay? we've got like another weekish before we get there, you know. But we gotta keep it together, y'all. Okay. It's like so one-sided. Yeah, it is. Marina's not fucking interested at all. She's weirded out by the whole deal. She's nice about it, depending on how you play her. But she's not into it. Not here for that. Alright, my lovelies. Alright. It's on you to decide what you are, okay? I'm gonna be investigating you, inspecting you. It's on you to decide what you are. You are not hogs. You are not feral hogs today. All right, we're drawing a line on hogs. Oh, refined hogs. Refined hogs, of course. Let's see. Little axolotl creature. Hydra in every chatter is a different head. Well, I kinda like the Hydra idea. That's a fun way of playing with chat. Do you wanna do that? Do you wanna be a Hydra? Okay. I think that's what we're going for. I'm gonna be a little bit rough today, voice wise, because my throat is still sore from the shimp yesterday. So you're gonna have to put up with the. You are not a hog. You are not a hog. You are not a hog. we need to let the feral hog bit pass over us. Just let it wash over you. You don't need to be a hog. You don't need to be a hog. 1984. Alright. Alright. Are we ready? Are we ready to actually do some ASMR? That's what we're here for, right? You all came here to hear to hear ASMR, didn't you? Not just to antagonize me. Alright. I'm locking in. What? What the heck? What the heck is this? Oh, hello there. Hi. Let me just... Hi. Hello there. Who are you? Can you... Oh, whoa. Hi. Hi there. Yeah, I'm a fairy dragon. And you're... Okay. Oh, we? Okay. I see. I don't know what my ears did just there. Hi. What are you? You don't look like any other dragon I've ever known, but you also, like, kind of do? Like, sniffing me. Sniffing me. Maybe I'll sniff you back. You're a hydra. Oh. You know, I think I've heard some adventurers passing through here talk about hydras before. Never met one myself, though. Interesting. You smell kind of familiar. Adventures are lame? Yeah, they kind of are. Which is why, like... Oh, wow, okay. sorry, there aren't 50 of me. I guess. I wasn't gonna judge you for having a bunch of heads, but Oh, you like you eat adventure? Whoa. Whoa. That's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. I'm sort of, you know, not really big enough to do that myself. So I usually just hide when adventurers come around. I listen in on them, and they say all sorts of things about dragons that I know aren't true. So I kind of figure that the stuff they say about you probably isn't true either, right? Hydras love to eat fat, juicy hogs. So do I, if you know what I'm saying. So anyways, you do smell kind of familiar. Like, you're not a dragon, but you're like a dragon. It's like we're cousins. You know? It's really interesting. Is it okay if I maybe touch your scales a little bit? Just to like compare to mine, you know? Is that okay? I hope so. If I just tap with my claw. Interesting. Really interesting. Your scales are pretty tough, it seems like. I don't know if they quite match up to mine, but they're pretty nice. Oh, am I intruding? You're all kind of flirting with each other. Sorry if I'm kind of. This is my forest, you know. I'm always watching over this place, so I don't seem all too scaly. That's just because I'm hanging out like this for now. I have a proper dragony form. How dare? I just look like this when I'm out and about, so adventurers don't freak out when they see me, you know? This place tends to be frequented by them, you know? They're always walking down this road. I think I'm good on the. I think I'm good on the joining the Hydra thing. I'm pretty content with the way that I am, you know? I think it's really cool, to be clear. But like it's just for me, you know. Okay, who's this Kevin that you're all talking about? You had a Kevin in the Hydra for a while? What happened with that? Okay, nobody likes Kevin. Nobody likes Kevin. Oh wow, you caught the stream. You can catch a whole stream? I mean, I guess hydras are pretty big compared to me, evidently. Catching a whole stream, that's really impressive. Oh, that sounds nice. That sounds like a pretty efficient way to get your water. That's what happened to Kevin. Kevin caught the whole stream. That's a shame. You know what? I think I like you. All of you. Collectively. Wait. Real question. Super important question for you right now. Who controls the legs and like the tail and the rest of the body? Interesting. I mean, I guess someone's in charge some of the time. I just feel like you know, because I would always be like, I want to go over there. I want to go do that. And then like someone else might be like, but I want to go over there. I want to go do that. I just feel like that would get difficult. You know, hydropolicule with itself does sound nice, honestly. That'd be cool. But you know, I just value my freedom. I think being able to decide like where I go, what I do. Maybe like can we keep the joining the Hydra option kind of tabled. Maybe eventually I'll be like, you know, maybe it's time to settle down, join a Hydra. But, you know, I just want to go out and find myself and do my fairy dragon thing for now. Okay, so you keep talking about eating hogs. And at first, you know, I was kind of like joking around, like a little innuendo. I says, ha ha ha. just for now, you know, maybe I'll reconsider later, but just out of curiosity, are hogs the only thing you eat? You can eat other stuff, right? You can eat other stuff, can't you? Okay, because I've just heard a lot of hog talk. I've just heard a lot of hog talk. Elves? Oh, I don't know about that. I have some good elf friends. I do. You know, not all the humans and two-legged folks and humanoids. They're not all bad. Adventurers tend to be, sure. You know? You know what they say? All adventurers are bastards. But, you know, plenty of elves individually are cool. That's maybe one of the worst things I've ever come up with during one of these improvs. You really do smell very familiar. That's interesting. Okay. Big idea. Huge idea for you. What if maybe so there's like a long standing theory among academics that dragons and cats are somehow related. I don't necessarily put a lot of stock into it, but I don't know if this is the same thing for dragons at all. But or for hydras compared to dragons. But dragons have, you know, scent glands. Where if I like kind of just rub my face against you, it'll make you kind of smell like me a little bit, and then I'll be able to find you more easily and like recognize you if we meet ages from now, and it lets everyone else know that you're my friend. So are you okay with me just kind of okay. I gotta slow blink back at you if you're gonna blow me kisses. Alright. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and just kinda Just a little bit like this. Mm-hmm. 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 Very important stuff. Yeah, I think I like you. I think I've decided I like you. You're all pretty cool. I should let you know, this road you're heading down, there's like a town, just like a couple miles further that way. And, you know, they have walls and archers and stuff, and they get all grumpy when they see a dragon, so. Just warning you in advance. What's a mile? Oh, this is something I learned from a human I met. It's like a unit of distance. It's like a measure of distance. Yeah, arrows are pretty annoying. They kind of suck. So. Hey, I know what a smile is too. How many hogs long? I feel like hogs are not a universal length. Okay, so you see me, okay? You see me? I am probably around 1/3000th of a mile. So 3,000 of me stacked end over end. That's like a mile. That is a lot of me's. I would have more heads than you in that case, that's true. Alright. Okay. You're all stinked up. I've rubbed my dragon girl stink on you, so that means we're friends now. That means we're friends forever, okay? It was nice to meet you all. You all have a great day. Be safe. Yeah. Oh, heck yeah. Oh, heck yeah. I love making friends. Alright. See you around. See you around. Oh, I'm back. I gotta say, ab is maybe one of the worst things I've ever come up with in one of my audios. That was so silly. That was so silly. You know, you can apply ACAB to a lot of silly things. In fantasy, you can say, well, I was gonna say you could say AGAB, like all guards are bastards, but a see para when you argue that not all adventurers are bad in that way, in that context, it does feel like you're saying that ACAB isn't true, which it is. And I don't know if that's what you were going for. I don't need to get into ACAB fucking discourse during my ASMR. There are only so many four-letter acronyms. You don't know what that is? ACAB is short for all cops are bastards. Which they are. That's a fundamental truth. I do fully believe it. Good cops don't stay cops. Good cops lose their jobs by trying to be good cops. I was once. I'm gonna kind of twist the pop filter on the mic while I talk about this. I once had a conversation with my grandfather, a very stubborn old man. He's generally left-leaning on most policies. He's, on his face, supportive of me being trans. Did not put in effort until I threatened to cut contact with him, as far as, like, names go. Like, you know me, I've been on HRT for 10 years. I had bottom surgery, around 2-ish years ago, closing in on that. I've been presenting femme for a long-ass time, and my grandpa only recently started calling me she, her, and using the right name consistently. He was always talking about how, like, oh, I'm trying, and it's like, clearly not fucking hard enough. Man asks me, why don't you visit more? And I'm like, because you're the only one who does this. You and my grandma are the only ones who do this these days. The only ones who still get it wrong consistently. And if you're not willing to put in the effort for your own granddaughter, I don't want to spend time with you. And then, wouldn't you know it, they started doing better. I was talking to my grandpa once, and he's autistic. I say that with full confidence. He's never been diagnosed because he refuses to go to therapy. It's... I have autism, my dad's autistic, my grandpa's autistic. My sister probably is too. There's an interesting thing where the same symptoms presenting in people assigned male and people assigned female are diagnosed differently. So, like, if I was AFAB, I'd probably be diagnosed with borderline rather than autism. And vice versa. But autism family. There's an interesting thing. My grandpa doesn't go to therapy, he doesn't do nothing. Smooch the Rav? Okay. He might be under the bed, so I will probably, if he is, I won't be dragging him out. I will just be smooching him while he's there. Okay. Point his shelf. Point it out. Oh, that shelf. Hello, I've returned. I gave the boy a smooch. He's currently on a bookshelf. We cleared out the bottom shelf of one of our bookshelves for him. We put a cat bed there. He likes it. Thank you very much, Dahlia. Very good girl. You're alright, Para. It's okay to not know things. It's perfectly fine. you learn and you grow. But my grandpa refuses therapy, refuses to talk to people, refuses to acknowledge that he might be autistic. But he is. And my father turned out better because he resolved himself to not be like his father. And I turned out okay because I was raised by my father and actually got therapy and talked to people and learned how to take care of myself and exist as an autistic person in a neurotypical society. And, you know, maybe I will do that. Maybe I'll add that redeem eventually. But I once had a conversation with my grandfather about the concept of ACAB, okay? Yeah, my father was a rebellious punk growing up. He's honestly, I look at pictures of him in high school and I look at pictures of me in high school, and he was way the fuck cooler than I ever was at that age. But there's this hereditary thing where people in my family tend to assume that we're right, to argue fiercely, to refuse evidence to the contrary, to believe in our own superiority. It's bad. It's not healthy. It's not a good way to live. And my grandpa never unlearned that. My father unlearned it by rejecting the idea of being like his own father, and I unlearned it through therapy and talking to people. I was talking to my grandpa, and this is honestly a point of major growth from my grandmother. I'm very proud of her, very happy with her for this, because he was arguing against the idea of ACAB, right? And I think it's possible for a good person to become a cop, or to want to become a cop. I think it's very unlikely for a good person to be able to stay a cop. Right? Because in order to stay a cop, there's going to eventually come a point where you have to ignore something atrocious, or you have to be willing to do something atrocious yourself. Because the police, at least in the US, it's a super closed off boys club that always closes ranks around the worst people. And he was arguing that point because he had friends who were cops. And I remember he kept bringing up like specific people that he knew. I was like, well, what about this guy? He was a cop. He was my friend. I really respect him. And my grandma, with every single one of them, was like, well, didn't he do this? Every single time he tried to bring up an example of a good cop, my grandma was like, well, actually, this happened, didn't it? Fuck yeah, Grandma. Fuck yeah. I love her. I love her. I love that she's starting to stand up to him and disagree with his bullshit now. That makes me so much happier. You gotta call people out when they're bullshitting. It's true, it's true. You know, I didn't necessarily intend to be so political on this channel. You know, because back on YouTube I was just doing ASMR, and there was some inherent politicism to the ASMR just because my position as a trans girl and the stories that I choose to tell. But was never my intention to like just go on stream or on YouTube and just like talk about politics and be like, here's what I think about the world and how it should work. But honestly, I've enjoyed being able to come onto these streams, and as I'm doing ASMR, kind of just yap, whether that's about media analysis or major cultural events or strongly held beliefs. Next ASMR, Faye becomes the leader of the world. I wouldn't trust myself with that. I wouldn't trust any one person with that. Do I think I have good ideas? Yes. There are many ideas that I would love to put into practice. But I would not be a perfect leader. Fuck no. And I'd be stressed as hell. I'd be stressed as hell. Faye reads the Communist Manifesto. Hell yeah. I think this is one of my most strongly held beliefs, and if I remember correctly, the first time I heard it spelled out was actually in a comic. Fun fact. I used to read X-Men comics pretty often. I liked the new X-Men series. There were several X-Men series labeled as New X-Men, but Surge, Noriko Ashida, is one of my favorite superheroes of all ever, and I wish she got more of the limelight lately. I miss her. I think she's great. And her whole team is great. And there was a discussion in that particular run of comics where Surge has found herself. I believe it was in this particular line of comics. She found herself as the leader of a team. Okay. She ended up being the leader of this team of other students who would eventually become heroes-ish. It was cool. But there was a point where she was stressing about it a lot and didn't really want the position and didn't feel confident. There was this conversation that was had that essentially boiled down to the fact that you don't want this power and the fact that you are so deeply invested in doing it right and not fucking it up. The fact that you're so aware of the fact that you're fallible is what makes you a good leader. And I think there's no real way around that in our current society. There's no way to change that, but I think there is something to be said about the fact that the political systems we exist in and will always exist in will always end up with people in power who want to be in power, right? The fact is, you have to run for election. You have to say, I want to be the president, the governor, a senator. And so there's something to be said about that, and there's no real way to fix it, right? There's no way to say that, like, if you want to be in charge, you're not allowed to be, because then no one would ever get elected, right? But I think there is something to be said about the nature of politics and power, that it tends to draw people who want power, and that the people who want power are oftentimes the people who shouldn't have it. I don't have an answer to that. I don't have a way to fix that, really. I think it's something worth keeping in mind, and I think it's also why it's so important to have things like term limits. Why it's so important that there are actual checks and balances, and I mean actual ones. I feel like the checks and balances that we have right now aren't fucking good enough. And I think there should be a way that consequences can occur when you break the promises you make to the people who bring you into office. You know? The Supreme Court is supposed to be one of the last lines of defense. It's supposed to interpret the Constitution impartially and to, make sure that things are functioning how they should. And it's supposed to be an apolitical position, but it's an inherently political position. Right? Half the chat is politics, the other half is flirting. It all is as it should be. So I just, something's gotta change, something's gotta give. I think as nice as it would be if the next election just fixed everything, the fact is, until there's like fundamental structural changes, this is another thing that you often see not reflected in media as much as it should be. The idea that, like, if you beat the one bad guy, then everything gets better. But that's never the case in real life, and there's just something that has to be said about, like, sure, we can vote Trump out of office, but we did that before, didn't we? We successfully voted him out of office, and then he came back into office not long later, and there's been all this nonsense about term limits. And the fact is, even if Trump himself is never in office again, the systems in place that made him are still there. The systems and the society and the structures that made the bad guy are still there. And so until those structures change, there will be another one, won't there? So this is, I guess, my call to action is engage in mutual aid. Help your local community. Vote in local elections. Those can make a huge fucking impact. And there's a much higher chance of properly progressive people being elected in smaller elections because fewer people vote in those. And push, make noise, and shout out for structural change. That's what I say. Welcome to Flawless Phase ASMR. I'm going to radicalize you. I hope you're ready for some lovely sleep aids. Fall asleep listening to this. Let my words seep into your dreams and let yourselves become increasingly radicalized. Alright, we have enough time to kick up another poll. Thank you for the follow, by the way. This is exactly what I'm here for. We have enough time for one more poll, one more proper audio roleplay concept. So absolutely feel free to make your requests. Hello, Charlotte. Welcome to the forest. Happy to have you here. All right. Yeah. There are flaws to HDG as a setting and as a world, but let's see. Chat wants good girl ASMR. We'll see. If you want me to just call you a good girl for about 25 minutes. Centaur related ASMR? I could do that. I could do Centaur ASMR. Yanks never do good Scottish accents. Very want. What are we talking about with Scotland? Scottish satyr finding you in her grove. See, right, the thing is, I don't actually know if my accent's that great, but I think it's better than most Yanks, right? See, right, so the issue with doing a two-headed audio right now is I don't have two mouths. That's Yorkshire, not Scottish. I'll trust you on that. I don't have two mouths, do I? So I can't really do skill issue grow a second one. Fuck, you're right. I posted a video in a friend's Discord that I just happened to find on YouTube that was like 6-year music, where it's 6 songs playing all at once in stereo. And one of my friends said, not everyone has 6 ears, you know, and I said skill issue, grow more, and now I am feeling the other side of that. And you know what, it feels bad. I wish I had 2 mouths, but I don't, and I can't grow more. I can't. I think you saw that 6-year video and you recommended? Kind of a banger. Kind of overstimulating, but kind of a banger. Oh god. Let's see. Okay. I'll do witch slime. See, I can do British accents and like a variety of them. Personally, I think I actually sound quite lovely when I'm doing something a bit more posh. I can also do sort of a Cockney type of deal. Thank you very kindly, Para. We have 2 more. We have 2 more slots on our little poll. Cowgirl teaches you how to hog tie. I'm rejecting that on the principle of having the word hog. I need to listen to the Bristol accent a little bit more in order to make sure I do it right. I can do Southern, yeah. I have some relatives who live in Tennessee, so I've visited enough. um, you know, it actually has been a bit since I've done a Southern. Can I do Irish-ish? Not great. Southern Witch Girl. Let's see. Oh, I like that. I like that Monster Hunter one. That sounds fun. Yeah, I have some cousins and aunts who live in Tennessee. I don't really visit them anymore because Tennessee is not a great place to be a trans girl, I gotta say. Let's see. Southern Witch catches rodent. Okay. Sure. Lots of witch concepts today. Alright. Let's see what we're thinking, everyone. Let's see how everyone's feeling today. Solid ideas, but I need praise. Soma, there's no genderless version of aunt slash uncle or nephew slash niece. Yeah, that's real. That's real. I'm really I do need to let you all know that I have been watching chat. I've been watching the flirting and the gentle doming happening. In other words, Squishy Siren, you are seen. You are seen, you are observed. And you're cute, in fact. Hey, no sorry. No sorry for that. That's alright. It's adorable. It really, really is. I wonder what's going to win this poll. I wonder what's going to win this poll. Who can say? Who can say what's going to win this poll? Squishy rhymes with cutie. Alright, what if I tweak the premise? Instead of calling Chad a good girl, what if I just called Squishy Siren specifically a good girl for 20 minutes? Would that be fun? No, I gotta share the love. If we're doing this, I gotta do it for everyone. I don't want to get too parasocial. It's just silly. It's just a little silly right now. You gotta remember, I'm not a big enough streamer yet that chat moves by super fast. I read everything that gets posted there. How's your doming? It's not bad. I mean, admittedly, it's difficult to dom in a Twitch chat, I must say. So I think in the circumstances you're in, you're doing pretty well. They praises one chatter for half an hour. Okay. Okay, my lovelies. And we're gonna spend the next 20 minutes having a little fun, shall we? I humbly apologize to any non-girls in chat right now, but the specific premise that was requested and voted for was that I call you a good girl for the remainder of stream. So, to the lesbians in the audience, this goes out to you. Oh, good girl. Do a poll of how many people in chat are good girls. Maybe I will. Should we have lore added? No, there's no need for that. Why do I need lore? Why does there have to be an extra story when you're all just such good girls? There's no extra justification needed. No plot. That just adds distance, doesn't it? That just makes it less real, less direct. When the simple truth is that you're all just such good girls, aren't you? This is both sides of the headphones kind of audio. You're damn right it is. Because it means that I get to whisper in your ear like this. Don't you just love some gentle whispers? As I tell you just how good of a girl you are. Oh, you're melting? See, I've always looked at that username and I think to myself, Lara Croft's a good girl. Oh, why just hers? Why can't you be everyone's good girl? Oh, my good girls. Oh, my lovely, lovely girls. You're all so wonderful. You're all so delightful. You really, really are. This is so fun, you know? I love seeing the way people react when I call them a good girl. I remember when I did my first good girl audio. Excuse me, I'm fucking busy. Can you? They're doing lawn work outside. That ain't a plane. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. The lawn is a good girl if you think about it. Give me one moment, I'll close the window, alright? Oh. Maybe it is a plane. It's got some distance now. Well, I am going to, Lawnmower girl cuts your grass. That sounds like a kind of innuendo, to be honest. Making a bush trimming audio. Good girl. The half-hour good girl audio. That's one that I had a lot of fun with, honestly. I had to switch up the voice a few times over the course of it just to keep things fresh, keep myself invested. But you see, right now, because I'm interacting with chat, I don't need to do that. I can just keep talking about how good you all are. My good, good girls. And talking to you and being a little more dynamic. You should say a random generic woman's name followed by good girl. Yeah? Do you have a specific name in mind? Hmm? Do you want to throw out a random suggestion? Darling. Or, well, if we were southern, it would be darling. Okay. Alright, alright, alright. I'll start saying we have a lot of names coming in. Good girl, Theodora. Good girl, Stella. Good, good girl, Danny. And good girl, Isabel. Poke. Hi, Poke. Good girl. Good girl, Shirsa. Very good girl, Shirsa. Good girl, Melissa. And good girl, Candace. Good girl, Dino. You're a very good girl, Dino. Good girl, Lorraine. Good girl. Good girl, Melody. Good girl. That's the closest to correct that anyone's done your name before. Well, I'm pretty proud of that then. Admittedly, this is another fun fact about that grandpa I was telling you about. He was an Irish immigrant. My Gaelic is shit, but it's better than most Americans. I can usually get a vague pronunciation of a new word if I'm saying it, or a name. I actually strongly considered. Oh, hold on. I'll actually, you know what? I'll share my actual first name in a sec. But first, let's keep going down the list, shall we? Good girl, Iris. Saoirse. Close. Opposite way around. I knew it was one of the two. Good girl, Annie. And good girl, Valerie. Very, very good girl, Emily. Yeah, why not name reveal? And of course, Dahlia, of course I'll call you a good girl. So. Yeah, you would think, Dino. You would think. You see, the other notable thing about him is that he was wealthy. I say was, he's not anymore. But, very much insulated from a lot of difficult things. So, here's the secret truth. My real name is not Faye. Faye is the name of the character I play on stream. It is the name I prefer to go by while I am streaming, but that is not my real name, that is not my legal name. It is not the name that I chose, because I did get a legal name change. My real name is Ashlyn. Now, I spell it anglicized, I spell it Ashlyn, but it's an Irish name, it's a Gaelic name, and the actual spelling would be Aisling. I spell it Ashlyn and I pronounce it Ashlyn because Americans would not be able to pronounce the actual name if they read it. The actual name would be pronounced Ashlyn or Ashling. They wouldn't be able to pronounce that. They would read it Isling. And so I spelled it in an Americanized way, but I do sometimes still spell it properly in private. So there you go. That's the name I chose. And the reason for it, my lovelies, my good girls, because we're still in the good girl zone, I haven't forgotten that. That is why I have that name on ScribbleHub, yes. That was actually, I started using that username well before I realized I was trans. Because, the secret is, okay, my dad's side of the family, very Irish. Very, recently Irish. And so, my father, his name is Michael, very Irish name. My sister, her name is Megan, very Irish name, spelled the Irish way, Meghan. My dead name, also a very Irish name, which I'm not going to be revealing on stream. And when I was growing up, I had a particular fascination with I had a particular fascination with the story of my birth and what led up to it, my lovelies. Do I think I could do an ASMR reading of something I wrote at some point? I have, and I will again. I've done those live before, yeah. But back when back before I realized I was trans, back when I was a kid, I was fascinated. I was fascinated with the story of my birth and what led up to that. You're right, Cola. I'm very sorry, my good girl. But you see, my lovely girls, before I was born, for a long time prior to my birth, there was an expectation that I would be a girl. There was actually a long-running joke in the family that at some point in the past, a witch had cursed my mom's side of the family to only ever have girls. My grandmother on that side of the family was one of several sisters. My mother only had a sister. My cousins, girls. My older sister, a girl. And so everyone was thoroughly convinced that I would be born a girl. A good girl, perhaps, much like all of you. It was just a running joke that this family only ever had girls. And everyone had this idea. They'd all convinced themselves that I was going to be a girl. I was going to be another girl. So they came up with a name, Ashlyn, and they didn't bother coming up with a male name until about 2 weeks before I was born. My father came to the realization, well, what if the unlikely happens? And so they came up with what ended up being my dead name only about 2 weeks before I was born. All right, my good girls, my lovely girls. And so, I remember growing up, I was fascinated with that. I was constantly thinking about what I would have been named if I'd been born a girl. And so, when I eventually realized I was trans, there were two names that I was kind of bouncing around. The first was a different Irish name that I just personally liked, and that was Aoife, spelled Aoife. I think that's a very beautiful name. I love Aoife. But in the end, because my parents were supportive, and because I thought it was a beautiful name, and because I'd been so fascinated by that name and by the potential life I could have lived if I'd been born a certain way, when I transitioned, I took the name that I would have had. And so that's the story of how I came to decide on my name. I'm very lucky to have a kind and accepting family. I'm very lucky to have had the circumstances that I did. And I'm very happy to share this. I love Aoife as a name because it confuses people who see a name with 4 vowels. True. That's the thing. That's another factor of the decision, honestly, my lovely girls, is that I thought to myself, well, I ended up anglicizing Ashlyn so that people could spell and pronounce it. But when I was considering Aoife, I was thinking, there's no universe in which the majority of Americans will be able to pronounce that if they see it. Our wife. Hello, my name is Our Wife. But for the purposes of this channel and for the things I do here, I do prefer to go by Faye while I'm streaming. Oofy. Oofy. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Gaelic is a beautiful language. It really, really is. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. You're all wonderful good girls as well. I can speak the tiniest smattering. I know a couple words. I can usually get a vague approximation of the pronunciation of words that I see. One last little fun fact for you all, actually, before I raid out, because we are at around the end of stream. We are at the end of stream, so I'm going to be raiding out. But just as a little last fun fact, did you know the word banshee actually comes from Gaelic? That's a true fact. Banshee, spelled properly, is spelled B-E-A-N-S-I-D-H-E. S-I-D-H-E is pronounced she. B-E-A-N is ban. And ban means woman, essentially. Whereas she means fairy or fae or spirit, depending. So, banshee is woman, a woman spirit, essentially. Do you think we could hear your Irish accent with a Dullahan audio? See, I don't actually know if I do the greatest Irish accent. It's not one that I've practiced a lot. Might seem a little silly considering, but that's just the truth. Alright, my lovelies. Shall we head on out, my lovelies? Oh, I'm sorry, but it has to end. We should get you to try and read some Gaelica sometime. That'd be pretty fun. It'd be good practice, wouldn't it? It'd be good practice. Alright, let's see who's live right now. Let's see who's currently alive. Beatrice Elfburn is live. Just starting, actually. Looks like we have some... what is it? Co-working stream happening. A little relaxed co-working stream. It sounds like a good way to go. So let's go ahead and raid. Still on the starting soon screen, even. Still on the starting soon screen. We're showing up nice and early. Alright, well, you have a lovely day, Dahlia. And to all the rest of you, have an absolutely wonderful day. This was a very fun stream, my lovelies. This was a very, very fun stream. Now, let's head out.